Welcome to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. It's good to be with you this Saturday, and we hope you're having a great one. Morgan's here in the showroom with us,
Hello, everybody.
and we are kind of figuring out this new studio. Got it a little better today, but we definitely want to talk to you about something that's on our mind, and hopefully anything that's on your mind. But we're going to talk about, our topic is going to be about faking it. Because it's
Not in a good way.
not in a good way, yeah. And what is the old saying? You fake it until you make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's actually what a lot of people are doing, and unfortunately, sometimes they never really make it. So we're gonna talk about kind of one of my pet peeves is when people really aren't doing a legitimate job, and then the ways that they use to disguise themselves to you, the homeowner, you, the potential client. Our purpose in this show is to give you useful information, and hopefully today's show on faking it will be useful to you. We're going to give you some of the insights that we've gained over the many decades of being in this business and what we've seen other people do. And it absolutely amazes me. So to talk about this, so some of the things that I've seen and how people will portray themselves. So hopefully you enjoy this, and we're going to get into some details on this, but before we do, we want to talk about a contractor of the week that really had a problem. And this is just again to show that it is a very risky business that we're in. Risky for the contractor and risky for the homeowner. And in this case, it was actually both that really suffered. Go ahead and tell us about what you this is recent, right?
Yeah, just a week ago, I saw it on News 4. And they said that authorities identified the man that was killed Friday morning when the flooring of a house collapsed on top of the home as he was trying to repair the foundation.
That must have been probably a pier and beam home.
I don't know, but it says that officials say that Acosta was hired to level the foundation and was under the house when the flooring collapsed, pinning him from the shoulders up. Crews said building materials stored on top of the flooring fell on Acosta, who died at the scene.
That's why it was so heavy. There was probably a bunch of sheetrock, which is really, really heavy, and it can kill you if it lands on you. That is so sad.
Yep. So the house was vacant, so people didn't find him for, not quickly. I don't think it was long, but in the other article it said that nobody was around.
That's so sad. I mean, and you really see how that could happen. Someone goes in there to take out some posts. They don't go inside to check and see. They take out instead of putting the jacks in the right spot, maybe they thought it wasn't that heavy and they took it out and it just collapsed completely on them.
Yep.
Or it just could have been a bad coincidence that they had loaded that floor and the existing foundation was so weak already that it just collapsed on them. But it is a bad situation, and of course there may be a lawsuit involved. When someone gets killed, there's usually a lawsuit involved to the contractor first, but a lot of times the homeowner gets involved in that, because if the contractor does not have insurance to cover that, then it could be the homeowner's insurance that's covering it. So I mean, and of course, I mean, if there's insurance, everybody's glad that the family's getting taken care of, but it's important to know that your company.
Responsible when you have people in your house.
That's right. You might be more responsible if you find out that your contractor was faking it. This is just another example of that. So let's talk a little bit about this subject that is very close to my heart. Over the many years that we've been in business, we see so many people looking like they're doing something that they're really truly not able to do, or in many cases never intended to do. And I remember in the olden days whenever would be a big Yellow Pages ad, and it would just have a beautiful picture of a project that they never even worked on.
Yep, and now you see that on people's social media
and websites.
I see it on their more often I see it on their social media where they're saying, look at this gorgeous dream kitchen, but they never say by
by us, but they imply that it was. So I mean, and that gives the appearance of a much larger company. And it's one thing to have a photograph or on your website some beautiful photos, and people think, well, they may think that that's pretty benign. and that it doesn't hurt to have a few photos. Well, it probably wouldn't hurt to have a few photos you didn't do if you were actually able and capable of doing that work, and you just hadn't had a chance to do it yet. But that's not really true. Now, if you were to talk to those people and they said, how come you have that photo on there? Are you really able to do that work? They'll probably say yes. They'll say yes.
Who's
but
going to tell you no?
But in reality, they don't know until they actually get into it. And unfortunately, that's the same thing for the homeowner. They don't really know that the contractor can or can't do it until they're already into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, photos on a website or on social media or even on a Yellow Pages is just the start. Typically, though, there's a lot more faking going on behind the scenes. You see a lot of it happens, whenever people meet up. They have very high pressure salesmen, con artists, which means confidence artists. But what they want to do is take advantage of the good nature of so many homeowners. I work for so many homeowners every year, around 150 per year, and I'm in about 500 homes a year. So I get to meet, and I tell you, everybody that we work for is just so nice, and they are really so sincere. Even if they have something that they want changed, or they feel like we should have done something a little different, even if there's some minor adjustment that needs to be made, they're still very kind about it, very polite. They're just being really sincere with us, and we appreciate that, and we never want to take that advantage of that. Mm-hmm. We don't want to take advantage of people's good nature. By nature, people want to trust people. And I too, I'm that way. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and it's okay to want to trust people. We just have to be careful, and it's okay to give people the benefit of the doubt, at least for a while. You can't continue to do that if there's no evidence, though, because so many people are willing to take advantage of that natural tendency that we have to trust, and it is a big test in this remodeling world that we're in. Because the numbers are big projects. Mm-hmm. Contractors are too tempted by the big money. A $20,000 job is huge to some.
Yes.
And many of them think I can put $10,000 in my pocket, and that is just absolutely ridiculous. You'd be doing good to put $1,000 in your pocket after you pay all expenses on a $20,000 job. And if you've got people to pay, it'll be even less than that. So, and if you don't run the job right. So we need to have evidence of things as we get into this relationship. You're not going to doubt everything somebody says right at the beginning, but you're going to take note, and you're going to pay attention to these details and get some proof. And that's what we're going to give you on this show. We're going to go ahead and take a break, but we are going to mention our loving sponsor, Chad Briggs, and his team over at Legacy Heating and AC Services. When I say, what a loving team, it really is true. They care about you. They care about us. And so we know they'll care about you. They do it on all our projects. It's a great time to do it in the winter to get your system checked. Every winter you should have that done, and probably every spring. Anyway, give them a call at 830-608-8000. That's legacyservicesac.com. And we'll be right back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. Welcome back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. I'm Keith Maley along with Morgan, my daughter, and we are in the studio, and we are talking about faking it. Yes. Our subject is the thing that irritates us is to see people say they can do something but then not be able to perform, and it happens all the time. So we want to give you some insights into what we see in this remodeling world. Like I said, I'm in over 500 homes a year, and I hear a lot of reports about what goes on, and it's not all good, I can promise you. Most of it is not, but we do have something good to tell you that we got a report from, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
We got a review on Google from Mrs. Myers, and she says, Rob and JD were truly a blessing. They took a 6-hour job and did it in 3, and were so professional and friendly. It is evident that they are dedicated to a job well done, and we are so grateful that they worked on our home.
Yeah, and that was not a 3-hour project. Or 6-hour project that we were contracted to do.
Oh yeah, that was just
a little bitty part of it. But I think she reviewed us more than once, didn't she?
Yes. So
they were reviewing a specific group of employees, Rob and JD. Mm-hmm. What a great great two representation they are of our company. They just really do a great job, and so much so that they're getting their own reviews, people commenting about them.
Specifically.
And we're getting others too in the company, like David, Mike, and Zach, and Chad, and Courtney, Marcia,
Bonnie.
Mac, Bonnie. All these are getting reviewed individually now that we have an easy forum for them to do it. And they are on the review sites, the big ones. Like this one was on which one?
Google.
Google, okay. Google
Yes.
review, yeah.
And we have some on Yelp, House, Angie's List, and Better Business Bureau.
Mm-hmm. And those are great. And so we are looking forward to being able to tell you about more of those reviews, because it does tell the truth, and it's out there for everyone to see. It's not something that we're devising. And we're really looking forward to Dirk's review here soon. I know he's going to do it. I hope he's listening today in his car. He said he's going to get that review out there for me. He did at least call the radio station a couple of weeks ago, which was completely by surprise and very much appreciated. And we had a nice visit with him, and they said you need to stop by and have that drink with him, Morgan. They'll probably give you a review, not me.
Yeah.
But so we have a lot going on, lots of projects, and one of the things that doing a lot of work, we're the largest in the San Antonio area, is that I see, and a lot of us do see the complexities of these projects. We know how difficult it is to keep a project in the design phase, in the budgets, and then during the construction to accomplish all these details. And it just blows me away how people try to say they can do all this with a very minimal amount of either experience, resources, or even the right culture in their company. I mean, you just can't do it very long. You can only fake it for a little while, and that by the time that project is ending up, reality is going to set in with you as a company owner, and as the employees on the job, and as the homeowner especially. The reality is going to set in hard and very painfully. So people are taking advantage of it. They're talking about that they advertise, they make promises, they make misrepresentations, and some of it is very, very subtle. Some of it is just trying to put their best foot forward and make them sound good, and we get that. Everybody has to do that. You're not going to make yourself look weak when you put out a radio ad or a television ad or something on your website. But no fault against them, but you as a homeowner need to look further, because that's what they're all going to do. That's what we're going to do. We're all going to do the same thing, try to say the best things. But I thought if we talked a little bit about how some people really do mislead, it might give you some insights into it. So let's go into it.
To be more discerning.
Yeah, to be more discerning, to notice the differences.
What things have you noticed?
Well, like in advertising, doesn't every company that's out there sound like they're a big company and they've got the staff to serve you, and that we're going to be right on top of it. We're going to do it for you on time and finish it tremendously. Well, that takes a large staff to do that. Even some of the smaller projects take a decent sized staff. There is just so much need for help. I mean, when you think about designing a project, it takes several designers typically to do a really good job, and several different disciplines. On a remodeling project, you have your structural, which is your architectural, you have your interior design, and you have your cabinet design, and these are not the same disciplines. The people in our company, that's all they've done. They have done that their entire careers, and they are good at it because that's all they do. And we don't just have one, we have usually a couple of those to help each other. We have to have redundancy, because if somebody's sick or if there's a lot of work coming in, we still need to take care of you.
The client is the most important, and if you don't have a lot of people able to step up and help each other, they're not going to get taken care of, and things are going to be missed.
That's right. A lot of missing of details, and the sad part of it is the homeowner doesn't know that these details, one, are being missed, or that they could have been brought to their attention, that they had opportunities that are now being missed, and they'll never know it till they go into somebody else's kitchen, or they get a professional coming by to show them what they did wrong.
Or I think of the instance of the Bosies. They said, we spent an hour talking about plugs, and they would have been so disappointed being in that kitchen if they hadn't been able to plug in their coffee maker where they wanted it to sit, you know.
Yeah, that's a lot of credit to our
things.
staff to realize they needed to spend that kind of time on it. That's a good example right there. So people are saying, you know, that they have the resources, and that's one of the biggest misleading things that people are going to be surprised at. They really don't have the resources. And we're going to talk about some of the specifics that people need to be aware of whenever we come back to the show. We're gonna go on anywhere else? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and take a news break, and then we're gonna come back and talk about some of the terms that are used and how you need to be alert to the differences when we come back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. Welcome back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. I'm Keith Maley along with Morgan, and we are talking about faking it. And we're going to talk a little bit at the last segment. We're going to talk about what kind of staff we have and why it's all needed to give you a better idea of the resources that you might really be expecting, and then to give you something to kind of compare to and measure up to.
Yeah, so keep listening for that.
Yeah, the last one. We're going to talk about terms here in a second, but Morgan, what's trending lately?
So, you know, the less is more movement is still around, and one of the things that's being incorporated into your design is no upper cabinets. People have less things in their homes, so less, that means they know exactly how many pots and pans they have, they know exactly what they use it for, so they have a need for less storage as than back in the olden days, where I think everybody needed more cabinets. But this is creating a very streamlined look, maybe open shelving to have some pretty accents. But
we just did some nice glass shelving on the Halteman. Wait till you see it.
Oh yeah. But it also helps to have people can have more windows there.
That's right.
Instead of having to have a big old wall of cabinets. So it opens up the kitchen, makes it more beautiful and really nice. So I personally love this trending.
I really do too. We're seeing it more and more, and it just feels so open and so clean, less cluttered, less imposing on you.
Yep.
Now, there's some places for a few upper cabinets and ones that go maybe from floor to ceiling, like pantry cabinets. But when you can open up a space and it just feels like you're less restricted, it feels like you've got more elbow room, more arm room, more body room, and you're not staring right into the face of a cabinet.
Exactly, and with the larger islands, people are getting more storage.
That's right.
Anyways.
You can store on both sides of it. Even in peninsulas, a lot of times we're putting an extra set of cabinets for storage that face both sides, and that's some really nice design trends that we're seeing. And I love the glass shelves. I love the floating shelves. Even wood. We did those at the Taylor project.
Yep.
The floating wood shelves that were designed.
And
they were and they were made to match the cabinetry.
Exactly. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, but glass looks great too. Wait till you see those at the Halteman project. So they're excited, and they just got their flip door too.
Oof.
That flip door.
Be exciting.
Yeah. So there'll be another concession stand, as Chad calls it. And so we love these opportunities that the clients are giving us. But it does show that a lot of the things like the shelves that are being designed, these are opportunities for people. The flip door and the extension, and these kinds of things, they take time to go over with folks. They take time to show people what they look like.
And
it takes time.
Of it is ideas from us. Not always the client has these great ideas. I think the Haltemans, literally all of their ideas came from you or the designers.
Right.
When you walk in and say, I would really lose this header because it'll make it really much more open. And they went with it. It
starts at the beginning whenever we meet people, but actually it starts before that because of the marketing that you're doing and showing videos of these projects people are seeing. I went to a client yesterday and she goes, "Oh, I see you all the time." Oh, she goes, "Well, I mean, I see your videos." And she says, "I felt like I've met you before, but I guess I haven't." And so, no, I hadn't met her. I had never met her before. What a great person. She works at Frost. Leslie is sending out a shout out to Leslie. She's great. And hopefully we'll do something for them next year. But yeah, it's just it's really, really a privilege to see all the things we're doing, because it does take a staff. And like we said, we're going to take a little opportunity to talk about that. Let's see, I'm just looking at the timer here.
But a lot of all of our stuff that we're doing, that's showing that we aren't faking it, you know? It's really helping people to see.
That's a good point. That's a good point, because it's actually in video.
Yeah, we're pulling back the curtain on these things, so you can obviously see our staff that we have.
Oh,
the things that we're advertising.
Speaking of pulling back the curtain, we have that podcast now called Behind the Remodeler, which is being released on iTunes, and we just came up with the logo and all that for it, and that is to give an inside depth look at what happens behind a real design build remodeling company. And that term design build, we were going to talk about
so
terms.
Overused.
It is misused, isn't it?
Yeah, misused. That's the right.
Because design build means that you truly are capturing the design portion of a project and the build portion of it under one roof. That's what you oversee. Now, it doesn't mean you have to use in-house staff for all of that, but many people really just don't do. They call themselves design build, but they're bidding other people's projects, or there's really no design involved in the type of work that they're doing.
Or I think too, they call themselves design build when it's a one-person shop and you're not a designer, you're
right.
a remodeler.
That's right. That's the other thing I'll get to. Even to use the term designer, and you can use that, it's not illegal to call yourself a designer, but what credentials do they really have? You know, if you say that you're a designer, do you have a degree in design, either interior design or in architectural design or cabinet design? What is it that you actually are a designer for? I mean, I'm a certified, universal design certified professional, but I don't even call myself a designer because I didn't go to school for design. I've taken classes, I know it, I've been in the build, I'm a builder. That's what I've done, and that's what I know. And now I do know how to design some things, but I am not going to go to the point of calling myself a designer. And
you would never want to do that either.
No, I don't want to. I mean, I'm proud of what I know and how I can offer and benefit someone of it with my experience, but I'm also very proud of what other people have done and spent their whole careers studying and fine-tuning their art. And so that's what we call a designer, a person with a degree who's done this all the time, or certified kitchen designers and things like that. Those are the ones that we're calling designers. So we have that, and we have more than one of each in our company. We've got a nice redundancy and overlap, and that's another term. They say they've got a staff, or they've got employees, or their team. What is their team really comprised of? You know, do they have them in-house? If they call an employee, are they a W-2 employee, or are they a 1099 employee, which really means subcontractor? Most contractors do not want to invest the kind of money it takes to have a staff that can serve your needs. And we're going to talk about that after the break, on what type of staff does it take to really do this business.
Yeah.
You know, the misrepresentations on what they can promise you in scheduling, the personal attention, the attention to detail, the term craftsmanship or handcrafted. These terms mean nothing to many people, but they definitely send a message to you as the potential client. And many times the message they're sending is very, very false. And so we want to talk about what kind of staff does it take to take care of you in the attention to detail, in the scheduling, in the communication that goes on, all the design work that goes on behind the staff. I think if you listen in our next segment about what our staff is comprised of, you'll see how important that is. And even to have great sponsors like Altstadt Brewery. I mean, we've had to do a heck of a job showing them what we could do to get them as a sponsor of our company, because we believe in something, that type of clientele that goes to Altstadt Brewery. You should be one of them, by the way. Go to Highway 290 east of Fredericksburg and check out that destination. Great food, but especially like 12 or 15 beers on tap. And it's German style, real German style. You'll have a great time there at the Altstadt Brewery. And we'll be right back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. Welcome back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. I'm Keith Maley along with Morgan, and we are discussing faking it. We want to get right into talking about how a company is structured that really takes care of needs. We know we do the best job in that in the business. We've had too many people tell us, and too many people come to work for us from other companies that tell us exactly how it was over there.
And some horror stories.
Yeah, and what it's amazing, and it has literally shocked me to find out how little they care about their clients. And it shows itself in many ways, but one of the ways is how staffed up are they to be able to handle the real challenges that come in this business. I could talk a lot about hey, you need people, or hey, you need to be prepared to do a project, and everybody sounds like they're doing that. But I thought if we just took a few minutes to talk about what kind of staff it takes and what these people do, it might give a better idea of what to look for, and also how you could see if something's lacking. So let's start off with the phone call. We could start off with marketing, because Morgan runs the marketing, and we have actually 4 of us working in marketing. So that's where my name's going to get mentioned here at the beginning. But it's Morgan, Justin, who's our creative coordinator, and that's Justin Bravo, Gabrielle Estrada, and then me are all on that team. But so much work goes in being able to show clients what their after pictures are, what other projects look like. Morgan has set up all of these wow presentations so that people can see what a project like theirs looks like. She photographs every project that we do so people can find a project like theirs. That's a real advantage to be able to show people before they even come into our office. And then, of course, once they come in, we have more to show them because of that team. In addition to all the shows and the videos that we do, that is a full-time job for several people. And so we're very, very happy about that. And that takes 4 people working on it to make that happen. Just right there, those 4 people. And then whenever you decide to call us, well, then you have to have people at the desk. It's not a recording. It's not me on my cell phone taking your calls from coming to the field, or somebody else that has no idea how to help you with a project. When you call, Tina is just a warm, friendly, helpful individual. And Kelly, who backs her up on that and helps with other areas of the office.
You get to get your schedule right then when you call.
When you call in, you get an appointment scheduled right then. And we're proud of that. But it takes hard work by those individuals like Tina and Kelly to get that done. And then whenever I go out and make an appointment and meet you, I give you my time. I'll give you an hour to an hour and a half of my time at least to go over your project thoroughly and talk about opportunities and the process that can make sure it happens. There is a process which we describe. And so then you're going to come in, see a presentation. One of the design consultants is going to help you with that. That would be either Mike McDaniel, Courtney Siebold, Marsha Jackson, or Scott Frazier. We have 4 design consultants that have tremendous amounts of experience and or degrees in some phase of construction and remodeling. And so we have specialists there, and then they are assisted and they utilize other experts in the specific disciplines, even though they know a lot about it, and they're going to be very good waiters for you to bring all these other staff and team members to help you. Who are they going to go to?
They have to go to their designers.
They have to go, but they're going to be able to go in-house because those people are available. Let's start with the architectural team, and that would be Paul Malloy.
And he's the manager.
He's their manager, and he is a designer, architectural designer too himself. We also have Mario Carrasco, who's a licensed architect. We have 2 other architectural designers too, Fernando Garcia and David Torres. Great, great guys that have gone to school for this, gotten degrees in it, and that's what they do for us. Then we need another discipline. We need interior design, like Carolyn Derensberg, who's been doing it for many, many years. We also have Courtney and Marsha have degrees in interior design. We have a kitchen designer.
Cabinet designer.
Cabinet designer is what I meant to say. Yeah, a cabinet designer. And that's what Bonnie has done all of her life, nearly, as an adult, is cabinet designs. And she works exclusively for KM Builders, and what a designer she is. Incidentally, Carolyn also has a lot of experience in cabinet design as well. So there is redundancy there.
And they work exclusive.
All of them work exclusively for KM, and so they are awesome. And people absolutely love working with them because they are so knowledgeable, but so friendly and so kind, and they love the family environment, and they really do create the family environment. All of those I mentioned above are very, very friendly and smiling and bubbly. And then it goes on from there. After that's done, then we get you into the estimating portion of the project, which is the strict quote budgets that we do. And Jeff and Sam, Jeff Young and Sam Wimberly, both who have decades of experience in construction and in this company even, are actually doing the estimating and breaking down, extrapolating all the numbers and all the options for you so you have choices. That is a full-time job for both of them. So 2 full-time estimating team, and sometimes we've had an extra one in there, but that's a lot of work. Then after you put a down payment, we get into the production. Now Mike, my brother, Mike Maley, actually is a coordinator of getting all that paperwork done, and he works with Tiffany, who helps him keep all of those things on schedule. From the estimating to the design, working with the design consultants, she helps get this to the point of where it's ready to sell. And then after that, she helps Mike get all the plans and paperwork, make sure that we're hitting a schedule to get it into production. Once it gets into production, we have a meeting with our production manager, our production coordinator, our purchasing manager, and the project manager. So let's start with the production manager. That's Chad Stalkup. He works with my brother Mike Maley in those meetings, and along with purchasing manager, which is a huge job, purchasing. And Jaime does a lot more than that. Jaime Perez, my buddy Jaime, is in there and on top of all of that. Then there's the project managers, and we have 4 of those. The most tenured is Mike Garcia. We have Luis Esparza second, and then Zach Patrick, and then David Martinez. All of those have been with the company many, many years, and they know our system. Then we cannot leave off Tara and Nora because they set up the accounting and they do all the payroll, make sure all the checks and all are processed, and that any questions any client has about billing, that's handled perfectly. They go back and autopsy projects afterward, so this is part of it. Now let's mention briefly our rest of our employees.
The quality assurance manager.
The quality assurance Ted, and we're running out of time, so we got to finish up with Caleb, one of the crew leaders, Caleb Stalkup, Daniel Narvaez, and then Elio Mesquita, and we have the Rob Dukes and J.D. Delgado of the cleanup and demo, and Alvin Ivy helper, Sean Davis helper, and we have Michael Dukes also, who's the brother of Rob there, and then we have Abel Manuel Larios, Abel Dominguez, Erasmo Ovalle, and Oscar Funes on the painting team. So that's what it takes to give you what you need. We hope you've enjoyed our show, and we hope that we have shown you that we are not faking it and how to be careful. We look forward to talking to you next week. Be sure and tune in live on Facebook and Instagram or YouTube, all of those. And we'll see you next Saturday on the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. Remember, you can have someone else remodel your home, at least try to, but then you're going to have to live in it.